So you want to become a journalist? Well, I'm not really sure why, considering the constant threat of job cuts, the pay issues, the workload, and also all the keyboard warriors who are very keen to pounce on your every move and mistake. It's still very much alive on YouTube, and there are so many platforms you can go out and utilise your journalism skills, show off your work and create some amazing stories. I've had so many people over the years ask me how to become a journalist, how to get into the industry, and of course why the hell I still do this job. I'm a senior reporter with 6 years journalism experience, and I've done quite a lot, to be fair. I've covered court cases, inquests, raw visits, feature writing, and covered exclusive stories that have been picked up by nationals. So I feel like I'm in a position where I can tell you how to become a journalist and give you some pointers where to start. This video is not about me, it's about you. You want to become a journalist, you're the one watching this video, and you want some help to get you that first media job. You want to learn how to become a journalist, what skills you require, what experience you should go for, and what to say in interviews to help you get that first journalism job. Now, I'll be sharing tips of how to become a journalist in the UK, but these tips will be quite broad and generic to the extent that they can be applied to wherever you live in the world. Now, hopefully this video will help you out, and if it did help you out, please subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up on this video, and of course comment below on how it's helped you, or if you have any other journalism tips. Please, I'll need the help. Going to university is pretty simple. I mean, you just pick a university, you pick a degree, you pick the nights you want to go out partying with your mates, you find out what your alcohol intolerance is, you find out whether or not you're a dickhead or not, and of course you do squeeze in some studying here and there. It's becoming more and more essential for people to go to university for skilled work. Now, that's not just for journalism, that's just generally across the board. If you are thinking about becoming a journalist, definitely go to university, and definitely pick a university that is accredited by the NTCJ or any other relevant journalism body. At university, you will learn the bare basics of being a journalist. You will learn how to write a story, you will learn about public affairs, you will learn about media law, you will learn shorthand. That's very fun, by the way, to learn. You will learn how to craft a story, you will learn how to speak to people, you will learn how to do different styles of journalism, like feature writing, court reporting, just general news. It's the bare basics of how to do journalism. Now, what they teach you at university isn't strictly how to write a story, but it gives you a start. It's so important to do this. And what you pick up at university, it allows you to pick up these skills and the basics of journalism, and you can apply it to going on work experience, working at the student paper, going into job interviews, and of course actual journalism jobs and working in the industry. But if you've already gone to university and you suddenly went, hold on a second, I don't want to do maths, I want to be a journalist. Don't worry, even if you've got that degree, you haven't entirely fucked it. I have worked with people who have not done journalism degrees. They've studied like law, criminology, politics, history, English language. They retrained as journalists. They did NTCJ accredited courses to then give them those qualifications, so then they could then become journalists and that be their career full time. And it's important to note that a lot of those degrees I've just mentioned, they do have quite a lot of transferable skills. I mean, in terms of writing and approaching people and just the communications, and that'll serve you quite well. If you haven't gone to university at all, or you sort of missed the boat to go to university, then don't worry too much, because you can do some things like the NCTJ diploma in journalism, which basically gives you a qualification in journalism. Similar to a university degree, it shows you the basics of journalism you need. Now, you can do these diplomas on accredited courses at colleges, or you can do it via distance learning or via an apprenticeship at a news outlet. Through this course, you'll have to undertake 4 mandatory units of essential journalism, essential journalism e-portfolio, essential journalism law and regulation, and essential journalism ethics and regulation. You'll have to top up your qualification with like other modules, like with shorthand or public affairs or broadcast journalism, or just like editing skills. To pass this qualification is quite impressive, and it'll make your CV stand out amongst other people. And yeah, it's a great alternative if you've not gone to university and you suddenly want to become a journalist. Definitely take it. If I were to say what is the best tip I can give you in this video for trainee journalists, it's this one: work experience. Holy moly, you cannot simply just get a job in journalism unless your parents are the editor or quite senior, or your family is quite rich. It's simple like that. Now, work experience is where you're based at a newsroom or an outlet to basically shadow the team there. You will be asked to write stories, you'll be asked to take notes, get quotes of stories, even go out and get pictures, and just generally just feel like what it's like to be a journalist. Oh, and you'll be asked to make a hot drink or two. Honestly, if you would make a solid cup of tea or a coffee for a senior editor or a reporter or anyone in the newsroom, they will remember it and they will comment on it, and it will make you more memorable. It's so important to do work experience as well, because you're learning how it is to be a journalist. You are being asked to do stories, you're being asked to go out into communities and speak to people, either in person or over the phone, practicing your shorthand, learning what it's like to write a story and craft it and make sure it flows and all that, and makes it actually readable. And it's a great thing to do. You can be quite nervous, it's quite anxious going out and being asked to do a load of vox pops about quite a strong community issue. It is quite scary at first, but if you have the mentality of saying yes to everything and being keen and enthusiastic about everything you do and everything that's thrown at you, again, that will help you so much, not only as a journalist learning the craft, but also people, actual journalists, will be very keen to work with you in the future and give you more stuff. It will help you in good stead as well. For example, if that outlet then has a job opening and they want a trainee reporter, they will maybe think of you and you'll be invited for an interview. Or if there's a job opening elsewhere, then you could be recommended for that by that editor, and that will put you in good stead because you've had that recommendation. It's so simple, it's so important. You can also do online internships, like where you just write for a blog or you just write for a website. I did that a few times and that was really useful, to be able to write some blogs or write some football stories or just whatever, and be able to file it to an editor. They can give you feedback, and it's also something you can do in your own time, which is really great. It adds more stuff for your CV. So when an editor looks at your CV, when you go in for that first journalism job, she will know that you've written for multiple outlets and you clearly have a range of writing. It's just, yeah, it's no brainer, isn't it? Now, if you want to get work experience, you just simply have to contact that publication's news desk and just introduce yourself, attach a CV, attach a cover letter, and just explain who you are and just say, I want to work for your paper for a week or so, or a day every week for the next 6 weeks, and you can build a rapport with that editor there. That editor will then pick up that email, they will discuss with you what they want, arrange some dates, and hopefully you can go into an office or set up a few days in at your own home and you just write remotely for that outlet. It's great, and it's also great work experience, and it also puts all on your CV. If you have the time, I would honestly recommend that you write for yourself in your own time. If there's a niche you're passionate about, like you're interested in football, basketball, or politics, or current affairs, or just whatever you want, set us up a blog on WordPress, Blogger, if that's still a thing. Set up Squarespace. I'm not sponsored by them, but just set up a blog or a site where you can write about whatever you want. And the great thing about that is that you have control about what you want to write, but it means that if you have something you're passionate about, the great thing about that is that you're probably knowledgeable about it and you know how to write it. Just go and write. The great thing about it as well is that you're basically reporter and editor, so you look at your own copy and you're constantly, writing what you want, but you're also thinking, does that paragraph flow? Does that sentence make sense? Does that joke make sense? No, it sounds a bit terrible. You can also look at the story as well, whatever you're writing, and just see, is this going to be good for readers? Is this going to be something that I would want to read? And that constant self-checking and referring, it makes you a stronger writer as well. The most important thing is, will it be terrible? It might probably be. If you're quite inexperienced, then usually what you write is not 100% the best, but that's absolutely fine. The great thing about practice is that practice makes perfect, and it's the great thing of learn by doing. Now, I did a lot of writing on my own. I wrote about TV, film, gaming, and football and whatever in my own time, and blogs and stuff, and I recently reread some of the stuff I wrote when I was like a teenager or at university, and honestly, some of the stuff I wrote was bad. Some stuff was great. I actually liked what I wrote back then, but some of it wasn't great. There was typos, there was grammatical errors, there was just some of it wasn't great, and that's fine, because what you're doing is you're refining your skills. You are learning what it's like to write a blog or a feature or a news story. You are learning as you are doing it, and it's okay to make mistakes. If you're going to make mistakes, do it early doors. And alongside this, if your blog or website, whatever you're doing, gains a lot of readers and builds up an audience, that's great. You can put that on your CV, because that shows that, one, you've built an audience, two, you've got a recurring audience as well that want to go back to you to see what you think about something, and three, editors are really being impressed by that, because you've shown that you are a self-starter, you're someone who could work on their own and build an audience, and they will be so impressed with that, and they will think, this guy's already got an audience for what he's writing, but I would love for him to be on my newspaper, my blog, so it will boost our audience as well. It's a no-brainer. Now this is the big tip. Go out there and get a job. You've learned all these skills from university, work experience, writing on your own. Now you've got to take all those skills and go and find a job. The job you'll be looking for will be something on lines of a trainee reporter role. A trainee reporter role is someone who will be asked to write stories they are given, and they'll also be sometimes asked to take stories they're interested in and deliver it to the newsroom and pitch it to the editors. Learning the basics of journalism through your journalism qualification or your degree, or referencing how you acquired stories for your blog, or helping out work experience. All these scenarios are so important to help you then be able to answer the questions those editors ask you at that job interview. Being confident in your own skills and experience, and knowing that you are the person for this job. You've worked hard at university to get that degree. You've shown initiative to go out and get work experience off your own back. You've also refined your skills at work experience, but also writing for your blog or doing whatever. You can do it. Honestly, you can do it. You can do it! Your life's been leading up to this moment, and it's okay if you mess it up. It's okay if that first job interview you go for, you don't get it. There'll be others that come through. Trust me, it happened to me. It took me, I would say, 3 job interviews to get my first journalism job. And after every failure, not failure, but every rejection, really, let's just call it that, I was gutted, but it made me more passionate to then get that final job. I learned my mistakes in every interview. I got advice from every editor I spoke to, and those interview panels, just to get advice for my future interviews, and it was so important. Like being stuck in a lift, it's scary. Job interviews are scary. And you've got to remember the fact that you got that job interview because you had a strong CV, you had a strong cover letter, you had a list of references and experience that made an editor look at you and go, on paper, you sound like the person we would like to shortlist for this job. You just got to go into that job interview based on that confidence that you got a job interview, and then springboard off onto it and dazzle them. You've got to be a showman. You've got to be not cocky, but just the right side of it, where you're really confident and you know you're the best person for the job, but you will nail it. And there's so many great videos out there that explain how to nail job interviews, and there's great tips as well online as well, like what are common interview questions and how you can answer them. Study those and you'll be great. Honestly, trust me. And fingers crossed for you. You will need to dazzle those editors like you're meeting your partner's parents for the first time. And to be honest with you, mate, you'll nail it. Good luck to you. And those are all the tips I've got to become a journalist. I probably might make a part 2 to this to further expand on the points I've made, or if there's things I've missed out, or someone's asked in the comments for further guidance or what I think about another tip or whatever. If you did like this video, please subscribe to this YouTube channel, give this video a thumbs up, I would really much appreciate it, and comment below if you've got any thoughts about the video, if you've got any further tips or just any further feedback, we'd much appreciate it. If you are new here, I'd like to just introduce myself. So my name's Mike, I'm a journalist for 6 years, as I've already said, but I want to create a YouTube channel that explains journalism and helps people understand the industry, share the old video essay here and there, and just be a friendly journalist, really. I guess you're a friendly neighbourhood journalist. Now, if you want to watch more of my videos, there's some videos I've just popped up on the screen. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel right here or somewhere. And yeah, stick around for some more. This is a relatively new YouTube channel, and I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers by my birthday in September. I really would much appreciate it if you would help me. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and take care.